whatever you wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Whose car are we going to take?
Good morning, and buongiorno to Ron, who apparently, Kim, is watching us from Italy.
Oh,
good morning.
On
Buongiorno.
vacation?
Buongiorno, Ron. What time is it?
That's awesome.
Thank you for tuning into the Nikki Medoro Show on this gorgeous day, although I wish, Ron, it is on my bucket list to go to Italy. I want to go to Italy so freaking badly, and I just want to eat and ride bicycles throughout, Venice or wherever. Going to Italy is on my bucket list. I cannot wait to be able to plan a trip like that. It's 6 p.m. Oh, perfect timing. I think 6 p.m. in Italy, aren't you supposed to be like relaxing? Nobody's doing anything. You're drinking wine, or is that
Get your wine, you're okay.
sitting outside?
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, Ron. That is awesome. Okay, well, good morning. Happy Friday. It is going to be a fun Friday show. Of course, Tim Sika will join us towards the end of the show to talk about everything to watch and stream. Tim Sika has been obsessed with sending Kim and myself things about Barbie, Taylor Swift, and the power of business with women. In a little bit, we'll kind of touch on that as well, because the bell rang this morning and stocks for like hotels and occupancy rates are up. And a lot of them are saying, because of Taylor Swift, she brought so many people to so many cities across the United States that, power to the woman. Speaking of women, we're gonna what? Go ahead.
Something's been really bothering me.
I sensed the frustration in that mic move right there. What's been bothering you, my friend? She's like, let me get this straight. Okay, go ahead. I'm getting my indictments up the ass cup ready for you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've been thinking about it, rolling this around. I've been stewing over it.
It's the best.
We were talking about Taylor Swift one day, I want to say 3-4 days ago.
Okay, we talk about her a lot, so okay.
We don't, because why not? Taylor Swift,
not, right? She's amazing.
And in the chat, someone who shall remain nameless at this time said, "I can't believe that she exercises so much, like her 3-hour show is such a workout, that she's not skinnier."
What?
Right. Like she somehow is she's a tall woman.
And let me look up a picture of her while you're talking. Okay,
she's
go ahead.
Completely healthy. She's perfect. I don't know what you want from her. Do you want her to be a skinny, mini little toothpick that doesn't eat anything? No. She's a full-on, healthy, beautiful, perfect person. I mean, sure, she's in proportion. Her body. I don't even know why we have to talk about her weight. There's nothing wrong with her.
What the hell is there to complain about in that picture right there?
I guess he expects, because she's dancing for 3 hours, that she's not going to have an ounce of fat on her body. Instead of being she's a muscular, healthy woman.
Yeah, no.
I don't understand.
I just read an article. I don't know if she considered it an eating disorder or if she was just like really doing restrictive eating, but she even said in a recent article, or at least a recent article that I read, that you'd see some images of her. And because she's also tall, she can be kind of skinnier because people think that she'll be lankier, but she was saying like all of a sudden I just wouldn't eat. And I realized I wasn't eating, and she's healthy now. Look at her.
Yeah, she's perfect.
I mean, come
on.
I
mean, when I say perfect, I mean perfect for her body style, her type, her whatever. Like there's nothing wrong with that woman.
Yeah, no, it's
physically, right?
There's nothing. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? She's a businesswoman. She works her ass off. She's so successful. And again, I said this yesterday, didn't I? I mean, people that do less than you can complain. People that do more than you never complain, right? About what you're doing.
Why do we expect these women all women really to have no fat on their body. Do you know,
I don't know
women,
why.
it's our bodies are built to retain fat anyway. This is the way the world works. I
Mm-hmm.
just was so put off by that comment. And I've been thinking about it. I mentioned it to my daughter and her mouth dropped open and she
I
said,
know, right?
they think Taylor Swift is fat. I said, I don't know if they think she's fat, but they think they think because of all of her motions that she ought to be
Right.
skinnier somehow.
Right.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. So Kim is talking about how when she first came out, she was really skinny, which makes sense. And then, accurate point. Lizzo works her ass off for 3 hours a night. She's not going to be skinny. It's not in her DNA. It's not how she's built.
No.
But she has the cardiovascular system to be able
Mhm.
to do what she does on her tour. Beyonce dances every concert. She's not skinny. It's just jealousy. That's all. You know what I mean? It's like you're sitting behind your computer. You have to complain about something. And I'm guilty. People are guilty about it. Believe me, yesterday, and this is kind of off topic about, just examining people. You'd be proud of me, my friend, because I pulled back. I was this close to being one of those keyboard warriors.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Just want to hop on, find somebody's social media platform and just vilify them. And I did not. It also was late at night and I was like, you should just go to bed. Have you heard anybody in the comments heard of this show? And I randomly found it because my smart TV offered it as an option. And I wanted something BS to watch before bed. Survive the Raft. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
Don't watch it. Okay, I watched one episode. Full disclosure, the episode I watched was not the first one. So I randomly came in, but it's still on. So it's still going on. Okay, I was so unnerved. So basically, I got a recap. A Muslim woman, had just been kicked off the raft in the episode before the one I watched and had gotten into an altercation with this other woman, I think Lashana or something, who's a black woman. So we have a Muslim woman and a black woman. They're arguing. The Muslim woman says, you guys are targeting me to get off the raft, blah, 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 blah. And she starts getting in Lashana's face. And it's just them two arguing. And, the Muslim woman apparently is getting too close. And Lashana says something to the effect of, don't come at me. You don't know what I'll do. Kind of like, chest puffing, like, get away from me. Right? This freaking white woman, this is the woman that I was going to, I literally had to turn the show off. I was so aggravated. This woman, Meredith, I think her name is watching. She's not involved. Nobody's talking to her. Okay. Could not be more of a Karen and what is systemically wrong with this country. So after the Muslim woman gets kicked off, I apologize. I think her name was Summer. I don't know. She gets kicked off or not. It's not Summer. I don't know what her name is. She's kicked off. So the black woman, Lashana, is the only one on the boat out of this altercation that only happened between them two. Meredith starts going around to everybody on the boat. And she's like, the thing that keeps playing in my mind is how she said, you don't know what I'll do. And now I feel unsafe. And started telling every single person on the boat that she felt unsafe because Lashana, was kind of, they were arguing, like, get the hell away from me. You don't know what I mean? That kind of thing. She didn't touch the woman. They never got into an altercation. They were just yelling at each other. But all of a sudden, Meredith, and yes, she's a former, I think, Miss America white lady, okay? So it doesn't feel safe anymore. And so now she thinks that Lashana should be kicked off and then goes around and makes it. And so then this other white woman is like, I think safety of everyone should be involved. And Lashana apologized. She was like, I'm sorry. I was upset. We were having an argument. Apology doesn't matter. She is now a dangerous black woman on the boat. I was so effing pissed off. This close. Yeah. TG, stop watching when they kicked off the quote unquote angry black woman. I was so freaking angry that I will never watch that show. I will never watch that show again. But I wanted to find that little biatch and be like, what is wrong with you? You are what's wrong with society. You look at a woman who's not allowed to be angry. And even if she gets angry, she's not allowed to apologize for it. Right? And be like, I'm a human being. I have these emotions. If it was you. And then this same white woman, later on, these guys come back with 2 chickens and apparently she's a vegetarian, starts yelling at them like, what the F is wrong with you? Yelling and screaming over chickens that, you don't have to eat. Other people eat meat. Starts crying and carrying on about it. I would have raised I don't feel safe. She got way too angry at those 2 chickens. Right? I mean, this is the ridiculousness of society. But anyways, Crappy show. Don't watch it. But it was so unnerving. But that again, it's just society and everything. It's
we
so
can
stupid.
see how things happen, right? Yeah.
Very, very frustrating. Okay. We will also talk after Kim's headlines about Danny Masterson. Okay. You guys know who Danny Masterson is, right? He's from that 70s show. He got 30 freaking years in prison for rape. Apparently he raped, I think it was 2 women. Now this is him from that 70s show. He's been found guilty of violently raping these women. He is a member of Scientology, so there's also this whole sweeping under the rug, and one of the women was part of the Church of Scientology as well. So there's that whole angle of it. I don't really talk about that part. I mean, obviously he was found guilty. I want to talk about this part. Bijou Phillips, that's his wife. He throws her a kiss yesterday. How many of you in the comments and she has stood by him through this whole entire thing. He got 30 freaking years. Could you stand by your man? And even, I'm going to add to this, even if you think that he's innocent, if he's found guilty, do you continue to think that he's innocent? I mean, at what point is it like, I'm too close to this? I'm not, I'm not objective, right? It's my husband. I'm going to believe him. Like, I love Kim. Do you instantly divorce your husband if he's found guilty of something that you've this whole time during the whole court proceeding stood by him, right? Like, you're not a rapist in my eyes, but he's found to be a rapist, to violently rape these women, so much so that he got 30 freaking years in prison. Do you stand by your man? So let me know in the comments, and we'll discuss that, because I don't know, man. That's a tough one. That is tough. I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could hear stories from women about what they allege he did. And now you could say that he did it because he's been convicted, right?
For him, sex is about control. And so I have a hard time believing she doesn't know that as she's married to him, because she's the one who is supposedly has to have sex with the guy. So, I mean, I know, I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that a woman who has a sexual relationship with a guy like that doesn't realize there's something off.
Yeah. I mean, but again, we've obviously covered stories of serial killers who have families. It's like, obviously they don't know everything, about the person that they are supposed to know the best. And I also want to add to this conversation, and I know it's a little celebrity heavy, but I feel like it can definitely be applied, to us regular folks' life. This whole idea of opposites attracting, right? Like, there's been a lot of celebrity breakups. I'm not a huge Jonas Brothers fan. I do love Sophie Turner. She was in Game of Thrones. I love her. They're divorcing. The narrative surrounding this divorce is quite rich. Apparently, she likes to party. He likes to stay home. So let's put a halo on his head because he watches his kids.
Wow,
right?
What happened with that? Yeah.
He puts, like, oh my God, he stays home with the children. Where is every mother that stays home with their kids all the time? Where are their halos, right? But all of a sudden, a husband does it, and it's like, oh, he's such a good father. He's doing the bare minimum. The bare minimum is you watch your kids, right? So, anyways, it's really interesting. Apparently, though, the question that everybody is curious about, there is video from a Ring camera, and apparently that was the straw that broke Joe Jonas's back. I want to know what's on that video. Like, now look, if it's her stumbling home drunk after partying, that's not an excuse to get divorced. If it is her making out with somebody, I mean, people have done worse, right? But I would at least give a little more credence to it. But this whole narrative of she's not a good mother, he wants custody because she likes to party. Are you not allowed to party if you're a mom, Kim? I mean, I didn't get that memo of like you can't go out with your friends.
No fun for you.
Want to, right?
All fun is gone. That's
all
it.
Fun is gone. Well, the reason I also brought up this opposite attract is there's just a recent study that looks into it and what it says. And I think that a lot of people kind of do this. Oh, we're so different, but we've come together with our love, and it's like, you're probably going to get divorced. Also coming up this show, I do want to touch on the one chip challenge. I was telling Kim before the show, I'm a little disappointed. I wanted to do something. I wanted to do the one chip challenge. I was going to do it, but now I can't, and it sucks. So I have like a little standby thing that's spicy. You know, I like my spice. And this is supposed to be extreme spicy. I don't think it's going to be extreme, but we'll see if I can continue to talk after eating that. That and so much more coming up on the show. But before we get to the headlines, please do us a favor and click that thumbs up button. It's easy, it's free. You do it every single show, and it helps us gain eyeballs on this YouTube's. So click the thumbs up button. Also, our super chat is live. If you want to throw us a super comment, a super thanks, a super sticker, look for the $sign under the live chat box, and it goes directly to myself and Kim and helps keep the show going. And then the number one way to support the show is to become a Medorable. And to do that, all you have to do is go to the NikkiMedoroShow.com right on your screen and sign up to be a monthly Patreon subscriber. As I remind you, it's only one time a month. So whatever you can afford for, the 28 to 31 days of the month, you can donate to the show. And it keeps us on. It keeps the bills paid because we love to do this. And then PayPal. I know so many of you like PayPal. The email is thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. And those that donate to the PayPal every month, you're Medorable as well. So I absolutely love it. But again, the show's website has links to our merchandise shop. It has links to PayPal, to the Patreon. So for all of that information and links to share the show with your friends and family, go to thenikkimedoroshow.com. On that note, I do need help. So I'm trying to set up, I keep calling it a raffle, and I think I might have to change it. I don't know how to do this. I'm trying to find the best way I have all of my ideas for the box and some of them on the way of selling tickets. So you guys let me know. Should I do it all through PayPal? Should I do it all through Patreon? Because I don't want to get too confused about who's buying raffle tickets or wanting to throw their name in the hat, I should say, for the Nikki's Favorite Thing raffle box. So I'm still working that out. We will be doing the raffle at the end of this month. So we got to figure that out. I'm going to probably do it this weekend. If you guys have ideas, if you've ever done something like this online, that's kind of the hard part. I've done raffles where you get an actual ticket, but this is different because it's all online. So I want to do that, but that is coming. I have so many fun things as part of my raffle box, my favorites raffle box. And again, if you're within 50 miles of San Jose, not only do you win the box, but you get a visit from yours truly because I will deliver it to you. Now, I will also say, booze may be included in the box. I don't know how many under 21 viewers I have on this show, but if you do win the box and you look under 21, I'm carding your ass. So I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble by doing all this stuff. All right. So, that's a good question. So Mark did a meetup. How did he sell tickets? Do you remember, Kim?
So it was an online meetup, and I think as long you could pay him no matter like what way. So through Patreon, PayPal, as long as you signed up and then contributed, technically that was okay. But I think
how did you know if it was for that specific meetup or if it was just to donate to the show?
I think it was kind of obvious because you sign up and then you donate. Right.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So there was like a sign-up
matched
sheet.
The names, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So maybe I'll set up some sort of. It'll be ongoing. I mean, as many of you want to be in the raffle, we will take. And again, we're doing this raffle as a fundraiser for the show. So the money goes to myself and to Kim, and it's just a fun way of raising money because we need to keep the show going, and also to give back to you guys with some of my favorite things. Cue the song. Okay, so we're gonna do. You get a box, and it's one-time box. I like it. It's a balance. It's it's something fun. It's nothing in this box. If you watch this show, should surprise you, but I think you'll want it because you'll be like, this reminds me of Nikki and all the things that she talks about so very much. Okay, let's do some headlines with Kim, and then when we come back, could you stand by your man or your woman? I mean, women commit crimes too. Your spouse, your partner, gets 30 years in frickin' prison. Do you stand by them? There are, civil rights icons that have gone to prison for a long ass time. And their spouses stay with them. Although I do think, was it Mandela? Nelson Mandela divorced his wife right after he got out. Something like that happened. But yeah, I think, how do you decide whether to stand with your partner or not? Let me know in the comments. Would you stay? And do you think opposites attract? Anybody marry or with somebody that's like, they're such opposite from me, but it works? And what needs to be opposite and what needs to be the same? Because there's a new study out that looks at that as well. All right. We're going to talk about all of that and so much more after Kim's news.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
All right, I have coughed, I have itched, I am ready for the news. That's the way it goes. Let's start with, I hate to do it, but Trump. The full final report from the special grand jury in Georgia that investigated former President Trump has been released. The grand jury recommended charges against South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, former Georgia Republican Senator David Perdue, former Georgia Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler, and many others who were not charged. The special Fulton County grand jury did recommend charges that eventually led to an indictment of Trump and 18 others with felony racketeering and conspiracy counts. California lawmakers have passed a proposal authored by Democratic Senator Scott Wiener that would legalize some plant-based psychedelics. Some Democrats and Republicans are against it, siding with law enforcement, who are worried it will increase people driving under the influence, like what happened when marijuana was legalized. The proposal decriminalizes certain quantities of psilocybin, psilocin, DMT, and mescaline for those 21 years and older. Governor Gavin Newsom has until October 14th to sign this bill. Will he do it? There's a group of moms in Marin who lost children. I think all of them were sons, 3 sons. And they were saying, listen, we're not against this, legalizing this. What we want is safeguards, right?
Well, yeah, you have to be of a certain age and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, but they say we want instructions on it because people overdose on stuff. They don't know how much to take, so there have to be some guidelines when you sell some type of psilocybin or magic mushrooms or whatever to people that, you're telling them how much to take. There's some security.
How did their sons die? From an overdose or like doing something?
So one of them took what's called a God's dose, which is such a large dose that you're supposed to be able to meet God or see God, and he went flying off a deck. Yeah. Another one, I guess, I don't know how much he took, but he ended up trying to eat protein powder, and it's the chalkiness of the powder clogged his throat and got into his lungs, and he died.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how the other person died, but it's something similar.
I mean, so basically it wasn't the drugs that killed him. It was they were freaking out that they did something that killed themselves, right? I mean, you need to be in an environment, because what I keep hearing about psilocybin and the purpose behind this, besides decriminalization, and of course, then you could probably tax it, is that it's used in therapy sessions, in situations where there is somebody watching over you. In that instance, okay, but what's going to happen. There'll be that. And then there's going to be the recreational aspect of it, where people are alone or with friends and nobody's in their right mind, and then they try to fly.
Well, are there regulations? I mean, do you know when you buy it that it's safe?
Well, I think any hallucinogenic is inherently putting you in an altered state. So safety is a question.
What else could it have in it? What else? I feel like there needs to be some guidelines here. I agree with the moms who lost their kids, and there's nothing.
I don't think that magic mushrooms, like, you don't cut magic mushrooms with something. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks like a mushroom.
I don't know how it comes. Does it come like a mushroom? Is it chopped up with something else? I mean, who knows?
I do.
Thank you.
No, I do know. I do know how it looks. I mean, I guess you could take it in like a powdered form, but no. I mean, I was actually on, was it Facebook Marketplace, and somebody had posted a picture of a bag of what to me looked like magic mushrooms. And I click on it, and it had some sort of description as if these were like mushrooms to cook with. And I Googled the name, and no. That's a form of psilocybin. So yeah, they look like, now I guess you can dust them, right? Like, how some things are dusted in like angel dust. But again, I never understand this whole thing. I never understand. But I guess you want to. I don't understand why drug dealers add drugs that people don't pay for to the drugs that they're selling. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, but whatever. So yeah.
Let's go to Florida. Yeah. Florida, here they're at it again.
Oh,
The
great.
public university system is expected to become the first to approve the classic learning test. It's a competitor to the SAT that emphasizes Western canon and religious thought for use in admissions. Really? I mean,
Did Ron DeSantis himself write this stupid freaking test? I mean,
don't even know. I mean, come on.
that is annoying. Okay, so do we know like what kind of questions they're going to be asking on this test, and why are colleges going to be accepting this sort of test? What is this?
Yeah,
what is
that's
this
what they're saying.
ridiculousness?
Well, they didn't give me sample questions. However, the Florida public university system will become the first to approve this test for use in admissions. So yes, they call the classic learning test, the CLT. So instead of the SAT, you take the CLT, which has a bunch of crap on it.
Learning test.
Western canon and religious thought, and that's how you're going to get into college.
So you have to. So if they're doing religious thought, then you must have been educated in some sort of religion, right?
Like what, you go into catechism class?
I don't know. I mean, how would you pass this test if you did not go to a religious school?
I mean, you could have had your parents shoving religion down your throat your entire childhood.
Oh, okay. So according to the New
offense.
York Times, it says an alternative to the SAT and ACT for only a small number of mostly religious colleges.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Well,
if you
now
want to
the-
go
the-
into, okay,
But the Florida public university system is going to approve this. They're going to become the first to approve it. So we're talking about non-religious colleges that are accepting this test for use in admissions.
I want them to, if you're going to go down this road, is it every religion? Does it have, let me guess. It's going to just be Christian religions, right? I mean, right. I doubt there's going to be, the satanic religion questions on there or anything that's not Catholic. Or Christian. I don't know, man. Florida is losing its freaking mind. Just
Yes.
whatever, you get what you pay for, I guess, out there. Whatever.
America's penis is having a hard time. Speaking of that, Danny Masterson, as you mentioned, the actor, will spend 3 decades behind bars. The former That 70s Show actor was convicted earlier this year of raping 2 women, accused of raping 4, but convicted of raping 2.
Crazy.
A case involving a 3rd woman was dismissed after a mistrial was declared, and prosecutors decided not to retry him on that particular case.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be hard when the fact that the first one ended in a mistrial, right? It probably gave them a sense of, oh, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Well, this was 2 decades ago. And so, of course, Masterson supporters are kind of saying, why did they wait so long? Why didn't they come out soon? I feel like this argument has been made, and we've explained it a million times about how long it takes, for something like this to necessarily come out. Because if it does, one, the woman was part of the Church of Scientology, which was trying to sweep it under the rug, because who are they going to believe? A quote unquote nobody woman or Danny freaking Masterson, right? He can get away with anything. And when you give a certain people that kind of power and protection, sometimes they abuse it.
That's what happens. Yeah. Scary. I mean, you wonder what else,
Right. Well, he's going
Creepy.
to learn some tough lessons, unfortunately, in prison, which, it's
I was
just sad all
watching
around.
this Conan O'Brien video. I don't know if anyone
I
else
know.
saw it
I
last night.
know
Did you see
exactly.
it?
Go ahead. Describe it. Yeah.
So Masterson is on with Conan O'Brien on his show, and they're
And
talking
this is years
about
ago. Years and years and years ago.
a long time ago. And they're talking about having a Long Island accent.
Yes.
And Masterson says something stupid about how there are certain words that you can't wipe the accent out of.
Right.
And he says his friend has a joke where you say, "Hi, I'm Danny Masterson. Please touch my," and then he says the word bulls, like it's some type of accent. And Conan said, "I think the bigger question is why you're asking anyone to do that." And then he goes, they're coming for you.
Right. He says, "I've heard about you. They're coming.
I've heard
for you.
about you. They're coming for
Yeah.
you." Yeah. And Masterson goes, "I know." And so there's this kind of like premonition that he's going down for something.
Well, it's just like kind of Harvey Weinstein-esque, right?
Yeah.
It's like everyone knew that Harvey Weinstein was that whole like kind of director's couch type of thing. And it was made a joke unless you were the one that had to sit on that couch or you were being taken advantage of by Danny Masterson. So, yeah, I liked him. He was my favorite character in that 70s show.
Really?
Whatever. Yeah.
Hurricane Lee is now a Category 4 storm. The National Hurricane Center says rip currents and hazardous surf will spread across the northern Caribbean today and begin affecting the mainland United States by Sunday. Lee has been swirling in the Atlantic Ocean. It's now packing maximum sustained winds of about 155 miles an hour. Yeah, it is closest to the northern Leeward Islands, and it is expected to remain powerful well into next week.
And I just want to add Chris's comment here. Or you can have the school shoving global warming down your throat. It's okay, Chris. We don't need to shove it down our throats anymore because we could see it played out in the news almost all the time. There you go. Sorry.
Speaking of which, look at the fire in Maui. Nearly 400 people remain missing 1 month after a wildfire destroyed the historic town of Lahaina on Maui. Teams of rescuers, cadaver dogs, anthropologists trained to detect fragments of human remains have searched now nearly all of Lahaina. The official death toll stood at 115 for more than 2 weeks, and 385 people are still listed as missing.
And you saw that whole, did you see the news report today, how they're begging for people to come? I feel really bad. And I know we've talked about this so much, so we're not going to like do it again. But yeah, it's just, they were mentioning Kihei and all of these other places saying, please come. Like, and I just think it's going to be a really hard sell right now. Maybe next month, maybe in a couple weeks. I don't know. But maybe people that already had their vacations planned, they're just not going to cancel them. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I have the wrong picture in here. I don't know how it's going to work out because you'll have so much conflicting information, but it's a sad situation for people who are teetering on the edge of losing businesses anyway after COVID.
Exactly.
And now we have another situation. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen says she is confident Congress will approve more financial assistance for Ukraine as it fights to drive out Russian forces. Yellen spoke to reporters earlier today in New Delhi ahead of the G20 summit being hosted by India. She also said she's been surprised by the strength of global growth and how resilient the global economy has proven to be. Yellen, not very upbeat about the future of China's economy, though, said she sees the world's second biggest economy slowing over time. So I don't know.
I mean, do you think that that's good news or bad news for us? Because although they're our huge competitor, right? We also get a lot of things still from China, even though I understand with the CHIPS Act and everything else, we're trying to bring a lot of the manufacturing home. It'll be interesting to see what global economy. I remember, being in college and learning all about globalization and blah, blah, blah. And, something bad happens on the other side of the globe has repercussions here as well.
Well, yeah, we do so much business with them that if their economy's slowing, you would think that it would affect ours. I don't know. I mean, you can't go into a store without something, made in China, right?
Yep. Oh, look at that, dude.
Talk
about opposites attracting and not knowing anything about somebody, right?
An investigation is underway into whether the accused Gilgo Beach killer is linked to another sex worker murder that occurred more than 2 decades earlier in New York. The Nassau County District Attorney reviewing the 1989 death of 29-year-old Carmen Vargas, last seen getting into a truck outside of her East Harlem apartment building. Her body was found weeks later on the Meadowbrook Parkway on Long Island. Her unsolved homicide is one of several reportedly being looked at to determine whether her murder fits the alleged pattern of accused killers seen here, Rex Howerman. The Massapequa Park man is now behind bars, charged with murdering 3 sex workers in 2010, whose bodies were found on Gilgo Beach. Howerman is the prime suspect in a 4th killing. They think he killed a lot of different people.
Yeah. So. I love how you enunciate Gilgo Beach.
I didn't at first, and then I listened back to it, and it sounded like I was saying dildo.
Yeah, I know.
Because
that's what everybody thinks when they hear that word. Everybody thinks that word.
Hit that G hard, or people are going to say, "What kind of beach is that?"
It's a beach everyone.
And I go to that beach. What's happening there?
I don't mean to laugh. People are like, it's so hard to laugh, and then I'm like, oh yeah, and people died there. Sorry, I'm not laughing at it. Sorry.
I know. Okay, let me get rid of Rex because something horrible happened in Fresno, and I wonder as a mom, what do you do in this situation?
Okay.
Not this. Witnesses say that a truck was driving recklessly before it slammed into a Fresno bus stop yesterday,
Oh.
resulting in 11 kids having to be taken to the hospital. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's
11
a tragic accident.
The mother of the 16-year-old driver is now in
Oh,
police custody.
shoot.
Police say they pulled her car over after she reportedly came and picked up her son following the accident. They say the teenage driver was arrested for felony hit and run and felony DUI charges.
Oh.
His mother arrested for felony accessory after the fact.
So you're asking me
Here's
what
the-
would I do if it was my kid?
Here's the phone call. Mom, I just hit and there's so many injured and I just hit these people and I need you to come get me.
Call the police, call the ambulance, and I'll be right there. What the hell else do you say but that? You call the police,
Yep.
you call the ambulance, and I'll be right there. And then if I find out that my kid is drunk, sorry, and I'm not saying this as if I won't be devastated, okay? But you will face repercussions legally for that. There is no protection. There is no protection. I am not, I'll get you the best lawyer I can afford.
Right.
Right. Of course, I, would send you to rehab if the judge allows it. But if any of those kids died, there are repercussions for your actions. And that's why you don't do stuff like that. I mean, there's no other answer than that. There's no other answer than that. What are you going to do?
No.
Go on the lam? What are these, what do they call them? Affluenza kids? Like, no, we do not have affluenza kids here. I would hope that my kids would never in a million years do something like that. Now, if it was an accident, like they're a new driver and they put their foot on the wrong pedal, that's one thing. You're drunk behind the wheel and you ran into 11 kids at a bus stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, your ass is probably going to jail for a little bit. And I know I'm saying this as bluntly as possible, and I'd be devastated if it was my own child, but that's what has to happen.
You certainly don't pick them up at the scene of the accident. You arrive, you make sure the police have been called, and then you wait with your child.
Exactly.
Right.
You show them how it's done, taking
Right.
responsibility.
Lastly, you can celebrate the iconic Hollywood sign's 100th anniversary
Oh, please, can I?
with a 6-mile hike. Yeah.
Oh, then I won't be. Thank you. Okay.
Junkett's Hollywood Sign Hike and Adventure Tour will take hikers to the base of the Hollywood landmark as they learn about its facts and local legends. Hikers will also get a chance to see the view of Los Angeles, the famous Griffith Observatory, Bronson Caves, and much more while traversing through the famed Hollywood Hills.
No,
wanna
thank you.
Look at that's pretty steep. Would you hike up to that sign?
No. Can I drive? Can I meet everybody up there? I want that option. It's one of those things like, can I just drive and then I'll take the picture and I'll act like I did the whole entire hike and not do it.
Well, I think even if you drive on a street up above, you still have to hike down to it.
That's fine. As long as
it's
it's a short
not-
one. So if it's like that house right there on the left of the H, you know what I mean? It looks like there's little houses right there. No, and see that little path down by the H? That's what I'll do. If
don't
I
see
have to
house.
exert a
Is there
little bit of
house?
energy, that's fine. Right on, well, I don't know if it's a house, but whatever.
Yeah.
That part that goes down by the H, I want to go there. Yeah, there has to be a walkway.
Or the little
Right?
trail. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do that trail. That's the one I want to do. And then
They're
I'll
going to
act like
take
I
you on a
hiked it.
6-mile trek
No.
through the Hollywood Hills.
No, thank you.
You're not doing
no,
it?
thank you. No,
All right.
I don't hike. That's not a thing. It's not a thing that happens in Nikki's world at all. No.
This report is sponsored by you.
Yes.
That means we rely on you to crowdfund the show. If you could go to the NikkiMedoroShow.com, the NikkiMedoroShow.com. Check us out there. The Patreon and PayPal links are there. We appreciate it. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you, and thank you to Harry. I hope you get to work from home some
Harry.
days a week, Harry, because I know you had to go back to the office. But happy Friday, love the show. Thank you, Harry, for the $5 super chat donation. You could be like Harry and donate as well, either during the live show or during the replay. But if you donate now during the live show, we read your comment live like we did with Harry. And we appreciate your support, Harry, and everybody else that goes to TheNikkiMedoroShow.com and either donates to our Patreon or PayPal or what have you. So thank you guys so much. I want to read one quick comment from our friend Lori. Sadly, just found out last 2 weeks that I've apparently developed a gastrointestinal sensitivity to capsaicin.
Oh.
Have used all my life and it's a favorite spice. It's very upsetting. Getting old sucks. Okay, Lori, just because we will get to Danny Masterson because I know a bunch of you commented on whether you'd stand by your man. So I wanted to do the one chip challenge, Kim McAllister. I wanted to do it.
is the one in, is it in pepper or is it
Yeah.
in jalapeno? What is
It's
capsaicin?
it's what makes it spicy, right? Let me get the capsaicin definition is chili pepper extract.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, it makes things spicy. Um, I wanted to do the one chip challenge. A kid died apparently though. All right. And I'm not making fun of it. See, I always like just bluntly say things like this, and then I'm like, and be like, "You're so heartless." No, a teen died. They don't know if it definitely was the chip. So if you haven't heard of the one chip challenge, it's made by Pocky. I'm going to show you a picture of it. Here we go. This is it. It's a one chip in this coffin box. What you're supposed to do is eat the chip that's extremely spicy and not drink anything. That's the point. And then you're supposed to post on social media your tongue that turns blue, because I guess that's what's on the chip. It turns your tongue blue. And you're supposed to hold out for as long as you can. Now, apparently this teen ate the chip, kind of got nauseous, which is what can happen. And then apparently went home with a headache, started to feel better, but then passed out and was found by his brother just before basketball tryouts. He was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Now, was it caused by the chip? Right now, it's just, correlation. We don't know if it's causation, but people are scared, obviously. I've never tried the chip. I'm not knocking how spicy it is. I'm sure it's very, very spicy. It has like Carolina Reaper, pepper on it or whatever. It's extremely spicy. Oh, it's Carolina Reaper pepper and Naga Viper pepper.
Oh, I've never heard of that one.
I haven't heard of that one.
What was it recently that you ate that was supposed to be so incredibly spicy and you ate it and you were like, meh?
So I went to the store. I was telling Kim before. I went to Lucky's. I went to a gas station because, sometimes gas stations have different chips. I went to actually 2 gas stations. I went to Walgreens. Could not find, and I didn't expect to find the one chip challenge because they voluntarily pulled them from the shelves yesterday. But I wanted to find Pocky chips. So the Pocky makes bags of chips. Now they're supposed to be really, really spicy. And I was like, okay, how spicy could they be? I was going to try it, and I could not find a bag anywhere. And I think my friend was texting me from Idaho, and her daughter was eating them. She's like, these are supposed to be spicy. They weren't that spicy. So she's like, try it on your show for your Friday food segment. Couldn't find them. All I could find are these Takis. Now I know Takis aren't new, but these are blue. It's called Blue Heat. I thought that they would be different, but
Uh-oh, you're freezing up. Hopefully you don't have it on your hands and your hands aren't swelling up. I don't know. Well, as we wait for Nikki to leave and come back, let's just say this is not my challenge. And I'm sorry, Lori, about your capsaicin thing. I don't know. I don't know what it is with spices. Oh, thank you again, Harry, for that. I don't know what it is with spices and why certain people are drawn to them and why they aren't. But I'll tell you, eating one of these blue chips, not my idea of a fun time at all. You guys spice people? Yeah? Ricky O'Bear says, freezing before burning up. Something happened to her. I'm sure she'll pop out and pop back in. Yeah. Now she realizes she's not on the air, and here she's coming back. Walnut Creek Adult Softball writes, nope, rather have a Slurpee than that turns my tongue blue and have a brain freeze. So would I. I would absolutely rather have a brain freeze. But I think it's because hot spice was used as a punishment in my childhood. So, maybe I just have a natural aversion to it. Hot Dragon Balls, says Calvin. Nope, mild. That's right. That's what she had. Hot Dragon Balls. That's right. And she thought, no, it was fine, right? I can't live without the flamin' hot Cheetos, says Songer. Yeah, I don't know. Kim says, yeah, those chips probably won't be the slightest bit spicy for you. I agree. The Takis made her freeze. Jim loves the heat. All right. I put hot sauce on almost everything, says Jim. Wow. 7-Eleven Slurpee cherry flavored, says Calvin. Yeah. Perry Joe Jim Bob writing, actually, there's a Carolina Reaper pepper, which may be the hottest pepper, now at 3.18 million on the Scoville scale. Ugh. Joe Fong with a 1999 super sticker. I thank you for that. It came at the great time. I appreciate it very much, and your contributions to the show. So I'll just take the opportunity to thank you for the super stickers, and thank you, Joe, for always supporting us no matter what, especially Joe and Harry who have contributed today. And thank you everyone for being in the chat and spending the morning with us. You can find us at thenikkimedoroshow.com, and that's where you'll find the Patreon and PayPal links as well. But speaking of spice, yeah, a lot of people can't do it anymore. Eric, I guess you used to like the spice. You can't do it anymore. It's just not for you. Something. I don't know. Well, in keeping with Nikki's food segment, and I did want to stick with that, and we'll wait for her to come back and try the spicy chips. I saw a story, maybe you guys have seen this video. It's a story about something that happened at a Chipotle where, and you know, it seems like ever since the pandemic, people are getting so aggravated over the smallest of things. In this case, this woman was yelling at the employee at Chipotle. Now, maybe it was the most inept person in the world. Maybe you waited and waited and waited because other customers said it was crowded in there. Maybe you waited for your meal and then you got it and it wasn't quite right. And then you didn't appreciate the attitude they gave you when you went up and yelled at them at the counter. But I'll just say, I'm so disgusted by how people treat each other in the world sometimes. This customer had to be arrested and charged with assault and disorderly conduct after she went to this Chipotle in Parma, Ohio, and assaulted the woman behind the counter. Her name is, the suspect's name is Rosemary Hain. She's 39 years old. They, other customers said, we walked in, it was really busy. Video shows the suspect bringing her Chipotle bowl back to the counter, slamming it down, and confronting this worker. Seconds later, she is seen throwing the bowl at the worker. And it hits this woman in the face. I think everyone was upset. Another person at the door, another customer, tried to detain this woman who, you know, for all intents and purposes, assaulted the lady behind the counter. The Chipotle worker who was assaulted says she was shocked by this entire incident, suffers from anxiety as the result of what she had to endure here. But she didn't want to go on camera. I do have, let's see if I can, I don't know. It's very, yeah. See if I can show you the video. I mean, it kind of goes on and on and on with the woman yelling at the lady. Gosh, she's so angry. And you wonder what in someone's life gets them to that point that they freak out like this, right? I mean, awful. All right, I'll show you the video. I was kind of trying to wait for Nikki to come back for the video, but so here's how it looks. All right. This lady's so angry. So here she is yelling at this woman with the long hair and the ponytail. She's yelling at the pink-haired lady behind the counter. Boom. Wow. I mean, okay. You're so upset. That's how you react in this situation? I mean, I don't know what gets you to that point that you would do this to another person. So I thought, wow, I mean, look how angry she is, coming around the corner, yelling over what? Her order's wrong? I asked for no tomatoes. I mean, I don't know if that was her problem. I asked for no onions. And there's onions in my bowl of whatnot. And then she just, boom. Yeah. So disgusting, so awful. So she's charged with assault now, and as well she should be, right? But it's just another one of these situations where you look at some situation and think, how did we get to this point? Like, how did you get so angry that you got to that point? I don't know. The lady had left and come back. She left and came back multiple times until finally it ended in this moment. Other people said they were too nervous to get involved. Like this lady was very volatile. The woman who, one of the women who was too nervous to get involved was the one who ran outside as this lady tried to leave, wrote down her license plate so that she could give it to the police when they came. I don't know. I feel bad for the worker. I mean, it's a stretch right now to put yourself in a frontline customer facing position. I hope that we remember, we're going to hear more about people getting all crazy and aggro this holiday season, especially because it seems like tempers are easy to flare since the pandemic. And I hope people take a breath and remember, be cool. These are just people and jobs. I mean, I don't know how much you get paid to work at Chipotle, but I'll tell you what, the last thing, I think I would want to do is make minimum wage and have people attack and berate me for just trying to do my job, even if it doesn't always turn out perfectly. Anyway, I wanted to show that video. Yeah, I don't know how it would fly over the counter and get fired, probably go to jail. Yeah. Lori says the person has a mental health issue. They should have 5150'd her. Probably. Thanks, Bertastic. Really appreciate that. Obviously having some technical trouble with Nikki coming back in. Someone joking around that she's still at the challenge. I don't know. I think she's furiously trying to make her internet network, which is what I think is happening. But let's move on to this the story about Godzilla fans. Did you hear about this new Apple TV release? It is Apple TV Plus's Monsterverse series. They are releasing the first trailer for Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, which is supposed to take place between 2014's Godzilla and 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters movies. It's got Kurt Russell, his son Wyatt Russell is in it. It'll be interesting. Monarch: Legacy of Monsters is coming out to Apple TV Plus November 17th. Are you guys Godzilla fans? Do you want to see this this series of monster movies? I know Nikki's a horror movie person. Is that your thing? Yeah, can't wait. I love Godzilla movies, says Donald the Maine Coon Sulfin. Yeah. Karen, it's interesting you bring this up. We did talk about Jimmy Fallon yesterday. He is accused by dozens of his staffers, current and former, of just being a real jerk to work for and making it a toxic work environment. But yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, Karen, he came out with an apology. He said, I feel so bad that anyone would think this, and we have made changes at the show, and other people said it's not like this anymore. But yeah, he came out and apologized yesterday. You think that's the right way to deal with it? Is to just apologize and move on? I don't know. Or once the cat's out of the bag that you're kind of a volatile, unstable person to work for, allegedly, is the party over for you? I don't know. I'm not sure. Is Godzilla one Disney or Tojo? I don't know. I know it's on Apple Plus, but I don't know what type of Godzilla it is. I don't know the answer. Chris writing, I can't believe the amount of goofing off workers are allowed to do in 2023. Are you saying that because you're on the side of the person who threw the bowl in the other lady's face? I don't know, Chris. I'm not sure. Ren, with a $10 super sticker, hoping Nikki is back soon and thanking me for the tap dance. Yes, thank you, Ren. I appreciate the $10 super sticker and your acknowledgement of the tap dance. I appreciate that very much. We do need you to like the show, so if you could click the like button, I would appreciate it very much. I don't know if you're excited about stuff. There's I switched out from Stars to Apple TV. So I traded one for the other so I could watch some things that I wanted to. And I don't know if you've seen the trailer for or maybe you've seen the show, the Jennifer Garner show on Apple TV called The Last Thing He Told Me. And so I watched that show with my daughter, actually. It was pretty good. Pretty good. I would recommend that one. I was watching Lioness. Have you guys seen Lioness? And it has Nicole Kidman in it. And what's really interesting is she's such a beautiful woman, but she just looks off in this show. I don't know what happened to her face or if they tried to change the shape of her face, but I keep looking at her thinking, you don't look like yourself. I don't know what the story is with that. But yeah, so those are some of the shows I've been watching. I don't know what you guys have been watching, but I'm interested in new things always, and what you guys are watching and interested in, and your recommendations. It seems like more at my house we will stream things than we'll go to the movies. Although we did buy tickets. I bought tickets from my daughter and a friend to go see that new Taylor Swift movie, which is coming out October 13th. And it's basically a movie of the Eras Tour. And this is so interesting because the way it works is you have a producer that makes the movie, a distributor that distributes the movie, and then you have the movie theaters, right? And it used to be that you could have some companies like Disney who would produce the movie and then distribute it as well. Well, Taylor Swift decided that she didn't like what the distributors were telling her about when her movie could come out. So she just jumped over the middleman and went from producer to movie theater. And apparently it's pissed a lot of people off as far as the movie companies. So Taylor Swift, I mean, I know we already talked about her a little bit, but I love how she just doesn't like the answer, gets it done the way she wants to get it done. You know, it's the way it is. Thank you, Bertastic, for watching the show every day. I appreciate that. You are on mute, my friend. I see you, but I cannot hear you. There you are. I hear you. Now
You
I
hear me?
Yes.
I don't know. I apologize. That sucked ass right there.
You're telling me.
I know. I'm about to eat my Takis. Thank you guys. I was listening to Kim. I always feel so bad just abandoning you. I'm like, okay, bye. Thanks. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but that's fine. Sorry.
I already did the Chipotle video. Don't go back there.
I know. I was watching.
Yeah,
I'm trying.
okay.
Every time I go down, I'm watching on YouTube just so I can. And I know that you were talking about the things that you like to watch and everything. Is it too late to eat my Takis? Because I didn't eat them.
Oh, no. Do it. Do it. We'll go back.
Should I still
we'll
do
back
it?
to food
Okay.
segment, yeah.
Oh, are you done? Were you talking about something?
I don't know. I don't even know what I was talking about. Move on.
Kim's like, I was just dancing over here. I'm just dancing.
All I can say is thank you, Ren, for your support there. Appreciate it.
Oh,
and thank you everyone for bearing with us, right?
Thank you. I don't know. Honestly, like there was nothing wrong with my photo, but anyways, let's ignore that. Okay, so again, just to recap, went all over the place, could not find Pockies chips. I found Takis though, and they're blue, and it says on the side, extreme. Extreme.
Mm-hmm.
I have my water. Anybody in the comments eat these regularly? I think anything flaming hot is gross. I don't think the flavor is yummy. I still say the same thing when I go to like chicken wing places and they have like the eat the hottest wing challenge. They never taste good. It's not yummy, but they don't even look good. They're blue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay.
I'm trying to. You're like, yeah, Nikki, they're not good for you. Okay, so I'm looking at the flavor.
Blue supposed to be like the new color for hot food?
Well, there's blue, and then Takis has come out with zombie green because that's appetizing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't eat Takis. I don't know if blue heat is supposed to be any different or if it's just a name. You know what I mean?
They're very crunchy and loud.
I'm trying to do a little ASMR right here.
Is it hot?
No.
Oh, what a letdown.
I'm going to stick the whole thing in my mouth. Hold on.
You do that.
No, they are not spicy.
No.
I'm going to have another one. Let's see.
Eric says blue corn chips are good, but whatever this crap is, not so good. Yeah.
I don't think it's blue corn.
Mario says they're spicy, but they are no match for you, Nikki Medoro.
I mean, like, I'm spicy. These are spicy. So do they cancel each other out?
She that ate the Dragon Balls with no problem.
Oh, well, look, it's not blue corn.
What's in there?
It's like regular corn chip, and then it's blue dusted.
Oh, okay.
With whatever that crap is that they put. It's like Cheeto dust, but it's blue. Nah.
So you're going to have blue fingers afterward?
Yeah. Yes, I have blue fingers. They're not spicy. I mean, okay, wait. I'm going to preface this by saying
No.
I know people that can't have black pepper. Okay. That's how sensitive to spice they are.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, I mean, I'm only drinking my water because I'm full of saliva, but hold on.
That's attractive.
I know. Everything I do is attractive. Yeah, they're not spicy. I wanted to try the one chip challenge, but yeah, I don't know. Eating food should be an enjoyable experience, not a challenge. I love that you say that, David, because every time I watch these cooking shows, Kim, so I was watching Hell's Kitchen I was just watching.
Mm-hmm.
And they did this challenge where if you got the food wrong, they dumped like marinara sauce on you and like Alfredo cheese or whatever. And I was like, do you think people in other countries that are starving like look at this and be like, why are you wasting so much food for quote unquote food challenges? It seems really tasteless, pun intended. But yeah, that wasn't spicy. Ricky says, I need spicy, just not hurt my mouth hot. Karen says, I prefer pizza. If you want it hot, add those little red pepper flakes to it, which I do. And yeah, it's, I don't think I'll ever be able to try the one chip challenge. They did voluntarily recall it. So there you go. All right. Let's move on. Oh, go ahead.
Time has come. No, just, you missed it by a day.
You know what? But again, my friend just texted me the day before yesterday with her daughter eating those Pocky chips that come in the bag that are also supposed to be really, really spicy. But I'm thinking it's really, really spicy, like the Takis are really, really spicy, which means not very spicy. Yeah. Okay, can we just read some of the did you read any of the comments about Danny Masterson? No? I know that we have been going back and forth on that. Here's my thing. Kim, you love your husband.
Yeah.
You think that, obviously you've been with him for a long time.
20 years.
If somebody knocked on your door.
Married for 20 years, but longer than
together longer, of course. Yeah. If somebody knocked on your door and said, God forbid, that your husband had committed a crime. Now, I'm not going to say what crime, but let's just say it's the same crime that Danny Masterson was accused of.
All right.
20 years ago. I mean, let's keep in mind, you're married now, and let's just take your 20 years away, all right? And so before you were married, he's accused of doing this. You love your husband.
Yeah.
Or your spouse, whatever. How long do you stand by that person? I mean, seriously.
Again, I go back to the fact that I've slept with the man for 20 years. So wouldn't I know if he had some weird sexual perversion or a need to be in control in the bedroom that was creepy and weird? Like, would I not understand that there was something amiss with him?
But then wouldn't you divorce him anyway? I
would think it would have been a long time ago if he was a weirdo.
Okay. So, but that doesn't change the fact that he's now being accused of this. And you didn't know. Okay. So you didn't know. He's accused of it. He's going through courts. Now, Bijou Phillips has been interviewed. She has been standing by Danny Masterson. Yeah. But now, obviously, he's going away. He will not get out of prison until he's either dead or a very, very old man. Okay. How long do you stay with this person? Heather says, isn't Josh Duggar's wife still married to him? Is she? I thought that they were. I don't know. I'm not up on my Duggar. I thought that shiny happy people thing though. I thought for some reason maybe she left his ass. But Lori says if wife is also a Scientologist, that could explain her reaction. I guess perhaps. Apparently, I mean she's quoted as being a shell of a person. They say currently Bijou is circling the drain, filled with all the emotion and no emotion at all. She's a shell of who she's been. She's trying to be strong for her daughter as she's trying to figure out life and what it will be for her. He had been free on $3.3 million bail, but then obviously when he was sentenced, he was taken away, blew a kiss to his wife. You're right. She is a Scientologist. They started dating in 2004. Married in 2011. So they've been together a while. In 2009, Bijou Phillips acknowledged that her older half-sister, Mackenzie, told her that she had a long-term consensual sexual relationship with her father. So there's also this idea that when you are raised maybe in a household like this, that some lines can be blurred. Yeah, I don't think I could stand. I don't think I could stand by my man in this case. I really, really don't. Yeah, and Lori says, Kim, no, you might not know. People like this are experts at hiding these things about their personality.
Yeah, but not someone that you're in a sexual relationship with. I would think. I mean, I know
Well, what do you
that.
think? They take their clothes off and something new is exposed besides the obvious? I mean, no,
No,
you
but
know?
how you act during, a sexual encounter.
But what if you only are able to express that maybe violent tendency with someone
Hmm.
other than your partner, and that's how you get it out, right? Like you find these other
Perhaps.
people.
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I would be devastated either way,
Yeah.
obviously. I mean,
I
there's not
think I
anybody
would
that wouldn't
have
be.
to, if it was me and someone, was accusing my husband of this. I
Hmm.
don't think I'm the wife that blindly says, "Not my husband, no way." And, I
Right.
think I would definitely have to see the evidence though
Yeah.
until, I mean, I want to know more. I don't just say, "Oh, okay, well,
But it
my
was
husband couldn't
20
have done
years
this."
ago. I mean,
I
the
don't
evidence is
care.
always going to have this question of time,
If
right?
you're
I
a
mean,
creep and a sexual attacker, then that's who you are. And I don't care. I mean, I would be as upset today as I was 20 years ago. If you'd done it last week or 20 years ago, I don't care.
Joanne says Ted Bundy's girlfriend said he had weird sex habits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Natalie says 30-year sentence. My husband would tell me to divorce him and move on with it, move on with my life. Yeah, maybe. If you divorced your husband who was in prison, would you still visit? I
Well, I
love
mean,
when Kim's like, ugh, do I have to?
I have kids with the guy.
Do you bring your kids to see their dad in prison?
You have to, right?
Do you?
I mean, I don't
If
know.
if he's a convicted rapist? Do
Ugh.
you? I don't know. I'm not. I'm literally asking the question.
So the
Eric says
kids
depends
still
on the
have
crime.
the kids still have a relationship with their parent.
Ricky
I
says
think it would
no.
be healthy for the children to be able to still know their father. It's yeah, I think it would be more detrimental to keep them away from him.
Do you? I mean,
Yeah.
seriously. Okay, so if you're, let's take rapist is terrible. Let's add serial killer to it. Do you
Right.
take your kids to visit their serial killer father so that they can what? I don't mean to laugh, but like, what are we working on here? A bond? Sharing tips and tricks? I mean, what do we want to learn from this dude? Right? Like,
Right.
I don't want my children to be influenced in any way by somebody that could kill people. Like just because they share DNA doesn't necessarily mean I want you having any sort of interaction, relationship, or influence on my child.
So
Right?
I once, and this is going to be obvious to a lot of you. I once worked with a person who was convicted and went to prison for um, some type of sex crime. Let's just say. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. And I had a friendship with this person at work, but
Uh-huh.
still, I'd gone to their house for a party once. He was very kind to me. We laughed on the air. We had
Cordial kind of
congenial
relationship. Yes.
relationship.
There you go.
Um, and he was funny and smart, and I enjoyed him. However, the crimes that he was accused of disgusted me.
Hmm.
I have come to the conclusion that because somebody commits a crime or because they're a criminal in one way
Right.
or a pervert in one way or whatever, it doesn't mean the entire person is that. Like you can have an aspect to your personality. You don't have to be, you're not all bad. This is one part of who you are,
Right. Yes,
which
and I
obviously
agree with
makes you,
you.
but you can have other aspects to your personality which are, you know, not bad. So how do do you just, because you did this bad thing, all of you is bad and we throw you away forever? It's hard to come to terms with that, but I feel like there's more to a person than just the crime they've committed.
Yes. And
And
it would be really bad to judge somebody on their worst aspect, right? I
right,
mean,
right. Now, I'm
uh,
not making excuse for a sex crime at all. And I'm, again, disgusted by it and I don't want to have anything to do with it. However, if you're talking about was it my husband, then I would probably know that there's more to him than just that. I don't know. This is a hard one. I'm glad
yeah.
I'm not in her place, really.
I mean, because while I agree with you that, there could be both good and bad aspects of somebody,
Hmm.
when we weigh the bad part,
Yep.
that has to have influence on whether or not I want to continue having a relationship with said person, whether it's just visiting, communicating, that sort of thing. And then to bring my children into that. Because on the flip side, what is the message you're sending, the children? Is that like, okay, this might be, I wouldn't go as far as saying condoning the crime, but you could still have the love, the support of family, even if you do something so freaking horrific. Heather, I love it. Heather's like, I have no problem judging someone for their worst aspect when that aspect is something horrific. I hear what you're saying, but I think the reason why I'm asking this question is because it's not like we're judging Bill Cosby or even that we're judging Danny Masterson, right? I'm talking about your husband, your wife, your spouse, your kids. That's what I'm talking about. This isn't some, Joe Blow, celebrity. We could judge him. We could not judge him, whatever. I want to know, and that's why I brought it up. Could you stand by your man, your woman, your partner, and push aside the fact that they were convicted of it, not accused, not an air of questioning, convicted. Their ass is going to prison for 30 freaking years. Like, I don't think I could stand by my man. I love my husband. He is my soulmate. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. I would be devastated. I don't know if I couldn't even imagine.
I would question everything about myself. Like, how
exactly.
could I have gotten this so wrong?
Exactly. What is wrong with me?
I mean, am I the worst judge of character in the world or what?
Right. But again, it's really hard. I do know who Kim is talking about, by the way. I did not work with said person, but I do know. I'm a longtime KGO listener. Come on, people. Anybody that knows. Okay. But again, would you visit said person in prison?
No.
See?
But I did write a couple of letters.
You did? What did you say?
Just, I didn't mention the crime per se, but I said, I just want you to know that we're all really upset about what happened. And I said what I just told you, is that I don't think that bad deeds encompass the whole person, that I know there's still good in you, and I hope you can find it. And I know that prison is going to be really rough, and I hope that you make it through.
Oh, Jesus. He's not still in prison, is he?
He's
out, right? Yeah, he's out.
But I haven't talked to him since. No.
If he reached out, would you take the call?
Yeah, but I wouldn't take my kids to meet him at a restaurant.
No crap. No, yeah.
Keep my kids far away.
Okay, so that's great. And now I know that this person is not your husband. So then why would you take your husband to meet your convicted rapist husband?
Wait, say that again?
So going back to Danny Masterson, right? Like, do you take the kid to visit a convicted rapist in prison just because that's the husband?
Dad. That's their dad.
What is the difference? They're still a rapist, right? You wouldn't bring your kids around the person we were talking about from KGO. And I know that there's a different relationship between you and that person, but the person's still convicted of what they're convicted of.
Yeah.
And so is your husband. So what, and I probably would too. I don't know. I want to say no and I want to say yes. I don't know what I would actually do.
Here's the thing with sex crimes.
It's so hard.
I feel like, and I don't want to say people can't be rehabilitated, but I feel like if you're like, you have weird proclivities that hurt other people, be that women or children or whoever, I feel like you don't get over that. That's not something easily, you go to a therapist and they can wish it away. Like it doesn't, like you always have
part
that
of
in
who
you.
you are. Yeah. Like
that's what turns you on. Like that's,
So
that's part of your
freaking
sex
weird.
life. So I don't want to have any part of that whole sexual nature with you if I know that weird stuff turns you on. You know what I mean?
But if you're married to that person and you have children.
And by weird stuff, I mean things that hurt other people, right?
Yes, of course. So then you wouldn't take your kids to see that person, even if that person is the father.
Well, in the best of worlds, they wouldn't have had a sexual relationship with him. They have a father-child relationship. So I don't know, Nikki. I really have to think about it. I'd have to go see a therapist and talk it through. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I guess, you know what I would always default to? That when they're old enough, they
Yeah.
can make the decision themselves. Like, I would just express them like, I just think that maybe you're too young, depending on the age of the kids, of course, right? When this has happened. If my kids were already like well into their teens, young adult age, and then I found out about this and they were taken to prison, they could decide for themselves. Do you want to go see your father? You know what he has done, and you can decide. But if it's a little itty bitty kid, I don't know if I need to expose him or her to, especially going to prison. Somebody mentioned it earlier in the comments. Like, going to prison is in and of itself kind of a traumatic thing, right? And
Yeah,
so
but
I don't
so
know
is
if I want
losing a
that.
parent. I mean, so is that. It's like then you have abandonment issues because one minute you had a parent
No,
in the
you tell me
house.
you weren't abandoned. That person's a criminal and
The
they're in
next person,
prison.
yeah, but that's not how it feels to a kid. One minute they're there, the next minute they're gone.
That's
So it feels
true.
like a death or something. I don't know which is worse.
Beth says, I wrote to my quote unquote friend too. His totally self absorbed personality came out in the letters and he wrote back. He served his time and was right back in prison within 6 months for doing the same crime. That's awful. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, with Danny Masterson, I know it's easy to sit here. He's a celebrity, blah, blah, blah. 30 years is a long time. They have a kid together. She has a life. That sucks. That really, really sucks. But yeah, I think I'd divorce him to kind of just put a pin on that one. I would definitely get divorced. I'd start a new life with somebody else and definitely make sure that I would be doing some digging, like any of the skeletons in your closet. Real quickly, because I know Tim Sika is going to be joining us in about 15 minutes. So the other kind of divorce that's been making the news is Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner. Now, I'm not a Jonas fan. I'm a Sophie Turner fan. Okay.
Okay.
She was in Game of Thrones. She's been in a bunch of other things. I like her. She's young. I never quite understood, the attraction to Joe Jonas. I don't know. Whatever. Celebrities. But apparently the initial reason was she wanted to move back to England, where she's from. She was done being in America. He did not want to. And now that he's filed for divorce, now he's saying, no. We just are two different people. She likes to party and I like to stay home with the children. Okay. I'm calling freaking BS. Okay. I feel like he's using, I should know. I don't know these people. Okay. So, but just from the outside in, does it make grounds to lose custody of your kids that you like to go out to and she's young, right? I mean, I don't think she's maybe 30. I don't know. Likes to go out with her friends, likes to go to bars and be a mom. Is it a ding, parent-wise, if one parent likes to stay home and one parent likes to go out? Because I feel like he's using this excuse as, look, how good of a father I am. I'm going to show you this picture. And it's not as if this picture in and of itself is a terrible picture. But it's really interesting that these are the things that are coming out. So see, there's Joe Jonas. He's taking care of his kids. He's playing with his kids.
That's nice.
That's nice. But like, are we supposed to give him a gold medal for just being a dad?
No.
And that's Sophie Turner with him. I just feel like he's using the fact that she wants to have a social life against her when it never happens with guys. Like, he's part of, and I don't know how much he tours, but he's a musician, right? A singer, whatever. He tours all the time. I don't know if he brings his kids, but whatever, that takes you away, right? Divides your attention. Yeah. She's an actress. I'm assuming, when she's on a show or a movie or whatever, there's time away from the family. But it's as if using this party girl moniker on the mom is sometimes detrimental. But if he wants to go out with the guys, I am positive there's not a TMZ article about it, right? It does surprise me also, this little thing. And I have researched, and apparently he is no longer part of his religion. But that's what I thought. I thought the Jonas Brothers were like hella religious, right? Like that was their whole shtick. Well,
right.
I shouldn't call it a shtick, but that was their whole thing when they were starting out. But they were very religious. But then he's moved away from his religion. He gave some sort of weird something happened, and I've stepped away from the church excuse. So, but do you think that blame is equally divvied up? Because I feel like it takes one photo of Joe Jonas with his freaking kids to be like, oh, see what a great father he is. And one video or picture of her partying for them to say, nah, she cares more about partying than her kids. Now, apparently there is a Ring camera video that nobody knows what's on it. There's a Ring camera video. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back when it comes to why he wants to divorce her. What would have to be on that video, do you think, to pull the plug on a marriage? Because if it's just her stumbling home drunk, I call BS.
No, but if she's doing some different guy on the front porch, that's a problem.
Thank you. Yeah, if you're making out with people, yes, hands down, you cannot be caught on the Ring camera making out.
Mm-hmm.
What if she, again, I don't know, but what if she was with a woman?
Doesn't matter. Cheating is
so?
cheating.
Cheating is cheating.
It doesn't matter whether the person has a penis or not.
Yeah, I think that it has to be cheating. I feel like that would have come out though, right? I mean, the fact that he keeps bringing up partying, maybe she was doing drugs. What if she was doing drugs? What if she was smoking a joint or I don't know, doing a line or something?
I mean, I guess at a certain point, if it's a problem, then, you know, you separate for the sake of yourself and the children, maybe.
Yeah.
But it would seem more like a situation where you'd get them help rather than divorce them. You know, I think divorce would be the last thing on your mind. You would think maybe a separation would be, you know, and then let's see if you can get yourself together. I don't know.
But the thing is like, don't they know that, like, just again about like, wouldn't you know your husband's a serial killer? Wouldn't you know when you're dating somebody what they like to do? Remember, what's her face? Sofia Vergara and Joe, whatever, Magdaleno. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. They got divorced. And one of the reasons was they said, I'm a homebody. She's a homebody. He likes to go out, or vice versa. Right. And it seems this idea of this person wants to stay home and this person wants to go out is like the death knell of marriage. And it's like, wait a minute. Did you not know this beforehand? Yeah. There was this new study out from the University of Colorado Boulder, and they said psychological research have found no compelling evidence that opposites actually attract. They say after reviewing several million couples cases spanning back 100 years. Okay, so this is a very thorough study. Our findings demonstrate, according to the author, that birds of a feather are indeed more likely to flock together. In a vast majority, between 82 to 89% of those traits are, to be exact, partners were more likely than not to be similar. But does it go as far as your extracurricular activities? I don't think there's anything wrong with having different interests, but you have to find some sort of common ground that you do something together, right?
Well,
I mean,
this is why, you know, they used to say, oh, don't have sex before marriage. And I know it was religious based and whatever else.
Right.
I don't believe that. And I won't tell my kid that. I'll say, live with the person first.
Yes,
and make sure you're
please.
Compatible, right?
Yes.
You want to make sure you're compatible in, do you like going out? Do you like staying in? And if that's the case, can we find a happy medium? Are we sexually compatible? All these things are important to know for, you know, long-term in a marriage. And I would hate to be the mom that says, don't have sex before you're married, and then have my child in a really unhappy marriage and have kids and then have to get divorced and then have all this stuff happen, when all you have to do is live with the person and figure it out first.
Yeah.
Take a year or two. Is this your person? You'll figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, you know, obviously, barring anything tragic in somebody's background. But according again to this study, across both analysis, traits like political and religious attitudes, level of education, and certain measures of IQ showed particularly high correlations. Heavy drinkers and smokers also commonly found a partner with similar habits. Some correlation was found in regard to how many sexual partners a person had, along with whether or not, get this, they were breastfed during infancy. You know what's just like that made them similar.
What article is this from? I don't know if I
This is the study.
One.
No, this is an article. This is in the study. They looked at everything.
Okay.
They looked at, a 100-year study. Okay, so this isn't something. This isn't just some sort of fly-by-night thing.
No fly-by-night party.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but you know what else? And this is just totally anecdotal, and I'm not trying to sound judgmental, but I firmly believed that, and there's no study, so I'm not a scientist, but this is just me personally, that people that come from divorced homes find divorce more likely an option to break up a marriage than those that do not.
I could not agree less.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's why.
Okay.
I think and it's funny, there's another coworker that we have, and we were talking one night during his evening show, and he was saying to me, you know, when I was dating before I married my wife, I had certain standards of people that I would date and would not date.
Yeah.
And I would not date someone from a broken home.
Okay.
Right. Now, I am from a broken home.
Right.
Not offended that he wouldn't date me. Listen, pal, I didn't want to date you anyway. However,
Right.
going through a child as a divorce, through a divorce as a child, rather, affected me in a way that I will say I never want to put my children through that. Right?
Ah, okay.
So I was extra careful when I picked a partner, right? I wanted to make sure this is a person I could stay with forever. Dated the guy for 5 years before I would agree to marry him. Really almost scared of marriage to the point where I wanted to, you can never be sure. You can never,
of course,
I mean, you don't know. But I will say that I'm in this marriage now for 20 years. The guy would have to do something like, I don't know, beat the
serial killer,
beat the holy hell out of me, whatever. I mean, it would take a lot for me to leave him, is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly.
Because I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. Whereas my argument would be people that did not go through the pain of divorce as kids don't know what they're inflicting upon their children. Right. And so they may be more apt to leave a relationship not getting that there's a whole bunch of stuff that comes along with that it does to your kids. So in my case, and in the case of a lot of people I know that have gone through divorce, we're much less likely to get divorced because we know what it means.
I like that. I like that way of thinking. Yeah. And again, my theory holds zero water because I did not come from a broken home. And my brother came from exactly the same home. Married a woman that did not come from a broken home, and they got divorced. So there's literally no water that holds us. You just don't know, right? Yeah. It's just it for me, when I see people that do get divorced, there seems to be a divorce in their background. Does that make sense? That's what I'm saying, right? But I'm sure it obviously happens from people that come from broken homes and don't come from broken homes.
Yeah.
Another thing that you need to also know is obviously drug and alcohol use, right? So on both sides of my husband and our family, there's people that have had issues with those sorts of things. It doesn't never necessarily be a precursor that it's going to happen or not, but it's something you got to keep in mind. David says it's weird that some of the aspects of someone's personality that initially attract you become the thing you don't like when you're married. That is interesting. Channing Tatum and his first wife, they were in that movie Step Up.
Both dancers, yeah.
They were both dancers. And I guess part of the I never saw the movie. Part of their thing was Jenna Dewan, that was his wife, was that they were opposites, right? And they got together. And he gave a recent interview and he was talking about this. He was basically saying, we kind of lived in this fairy tale world. He says, we fought it for a long time, even though we both sort of knew that we had sort of grown apart. I think we told ourselves a story when we were young about our opposites attract romance that started while filming Step Up. And we just kept telling ourselves that story, no matter how blatantly life was telling us that we were so different. But when you're actually parents, you really understand differences between the two of you because it is screaming at you all day long how you parent differently, how you look at the world, and how you go through the world. And I know people like this. They've been in relationships and all of a sudden they have kids and the other person has kids and they see how the other person parents and they're like, you know what? No, I don't parent my kid that way, or we don't agree on this sort of thing. And so in that aspect, I could see, when you bring kids into it too, you're not just making a decision for yourself. You're making a decision for these kids and what household you're going to bring them into. And how many horror stories have we heard about, oh my God, my life was great with just my mom or with just my dad. And then they married X, Y, and Z and it went to hell in a handbasket, right? Because it just didn't work. And so, you got to keep all that in mind when you're choosing a partner. You know what I mean?
I was watching a movie and the movie was about this couple who they were in love. What was it? No, it's a TV show. Okay. And this couple was in love and they wanted to get married. And then they were radio hosts in this show. And they had a therapist come in and she was saying, have you really sat down? And they had already gotten married at this point. Okay. Have you really sat down and gone through this checklist of items to make sure you're compatible. Like, how do you feel about having children?
Yes,
They hadn't talked
exactly.
about how many children they wanted or when. How do you feel about finances? Do you want to keep separate bank accounts? Do you want to commingle your money? They had completely differing views on that, right?
Everything. Yeah.
Everything was different. So all this stuff you have to think about before you, I mean, and not that if we have different opinions that we can't change
Work
those
it out,
opinions
yeah.
or work it out, but you have to think about stuff, through before you, and I know it's not sexy. It's not like, oh, we're so attracted, we're so in love. Well, what about the day-to-day business of life? About how you raise
Exactly.
kids, about how you discipline kids, about, your theory on religion and politics and all these things. Like, how compatible are you really? I
Yeah.
don't know.
And what's interesting is, and I've shared this story before, my husband and I went to that like marriage encounter because we got married in the Catholic Church and you have to do this, right? And so we did this whole long weekend
Mhm.
and we were geeking out on it. We were so proud of ourselves because they do that. They give you a questionnaire and you fill it out separately.
Mhm.
And one is, and you check a box like who handles the money, or
Mhm.
it even got as far as like what way does the toilet paper roll go, right? And
Okay.
then everybody's together
Yeah.
and they ask the question, you're supposed to stand up or sit down. So it's like, I believe that we should commingle our finances, right?
Right.
And so if one of you stands up and one of you doesn't, obviously that's an issue you guys need to talk about.
Right.
We aced it. We didn't get one question wrong.
Wow.
Not one
Okay.
question. Not, and I don't want to say wrong, just we
Yeah.
agreed on everything. But again, just like you, Kim, we'd been together for 4
Yeah.
freaking, and we lived together. Like
Yeah.
these roles, and I'm not saying it's the same as being married. I don't think that
Yeah.
living together, there's a whole nother layer that is involved when you're married.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But when you live with somebody, and not only did we live together, we also lived with roommates for a long time of our relationship. And that just brings a whole different dynamic as well, because then you have to deal with people
Right.
and those sorts of things, and you're put in situations. So we were kind of tested for many, many years before we got married. So we should have been like, if we weren't, I was like, what the hell is wrong with us? But there is a joy, I will say, to going over those mundane questions and realizing you're on the same page. And there's no wrong or right answer.
My husband gets excited if we watch HGTV and we are both expressing the same opinion about the design of the house.
I
Like,
love
why did
that.
they do that? Why didn't he's like, I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
He's so tickled that we have the same opinion on, how a house should be decorated or
Because
what they should have done
connects
with the
you.
fireplace. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it makes you realize, just to kind of geek out on that too, that you're with your person, right? So
Like, I knew we should be together. We have the same we agree on this. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I texted, I was at, just quick story before we go to Tim Sika. I was at PetSmart the other day getting dog food, and they have all of these Halloween costumes. Now we call Nugget a million different nicknames, right? That's what you have for your dog. One of the nicknames that we have for Nugget is Snuggaboo. Like we call him Snuggaboo. Okay. And so I'm looking around for all these costumes, and I was like, oh, it'd be awesome if we could find a ghost one, because then he could literally be a Snuggaboo, right? Because he'd be
Right.
a ghost. But I couldn't find a ghost one. I could find a bee one. And so I was like, so I texted James and I'm like, should I get this bee costume? And I sent a picture. I'm like, he could be a Snuggabee. And he texts me back. He's like, no, find a ghost. So he's a Snuggaboo. And I don't know why. I was so tickled. I was like, I know. I was trying to find the exact same one. But when you're on the same page with somebody, and
Yeah.
you know that you're with the right person, it feels good. You're like, that's the universe telling me I chose a keeper. Oh, look, Natalie's like, my husband watches trash TV with me, like all the 90 Day Fiance and Married at First Sight shows, and totally gets into the drama. He's a keeper. I am telling you, those little things are what make marriage worth it, right?
Yeah.
It's just when you could sit on the couch and just have something that you laugh together. Like my
Yeah.
husband and I, we send memes to each other, completely inappropriate memes or
Yeah,
really
he's a
funny
good meme
memes.
sender, I will say.
That's all.
James is like king of memes.
He is, and he's so
Yeah.
proud of it. He
Yeah.
is so proud, but he hates it when he'll be on the couch. And if I have not put a laugh emoji underneath the meme on like social media,
Yeah.
and then he shows it to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, I saw that one. And he's like, but you didn't laugh at it. And I go, it's like, you have to laugh at it or it doesn't count. I'm like, okay, fine. Ha 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 ha. It's really funny. But yeah, marriage can be fun. I'm telling you. Oh, Janet, don't go overboard on the costumes. I'm telling you. I never thought that I would be someone that would dress up my pet for Halloween, but I just might have to get him a ghost costume. Well, we might just have to make him a Snuggaboo. He's just so cute. I totally skipped your headlines. I apologize.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, you can use them. Stay with us because Mark Thompson's gonna be there. She'll just have all these headlines. Then.
I
But
will.
let's talk to our friend Tim Sika because it is Friday and we have some movies to watch. Hello, Tim.
Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hi.
I'm loving all the
Snuggaboo.
Barbie stuff. Yeah, I'm loving all the Barbie headlines though that you're giving me, dude.
Oh yeah, it's already going on digital. Yeah, you're gonna be able to watch. You're gonna be able to watch it at home. Boy, they can't get the money fast enough, can they?
I know. I'm
geez,
telling
guys.
you.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. I want to. I'm going to get to the movies real quickly because I wanted to get this image up there. But I wanted to also get your take on the Taylor Swift movie. Did you see this article about why she was releasing it in theaters?
Yeah. I think I sent it to you.
I thought so.
Yeah.
That is genius, by the way, right?
Yeah. Well, I mentioned that to a friend because I haven't followed exactly what she's doing in the business world, but apparently she keeps breaking these taboos. She did something very, very similar with her recording output. Apparently she re-recorded all of her songs, but she's again omitted the middleman and is like making so much money on it for her and for the the person distributing it. So yeah, she's a powerhouse, man. We could learn a lot from Taylor. She certainly is, man. Boy, oh boy.
They should be a business course, like, on how to market yourself. Because I would say Barbie's the same way. The marketing behind not only the Eras tour with Taylor Swift, but Barbie, the movie, has been fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, they just, you had to go. You had to watch the movie.
Right? Yeah.
You had to do all those things.
Yeah, no, they, well, they're lucky they made so much money on it because I think they probably spent a huge fortune on promoting it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was genius. You're right. Everybody I know knew about that movie, either saw the trailer or was anxious to see it weeks before it even opened.
I know.
That's an effective.
I don't know if I'm going to buy it, but I might. I liked it. I'm definitely going to stream it at least once because.
I'll watch it. I'll watch it again one more time too.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see what's happening and being released this weekend, and let's start with the one that I'm definitely going to watch, which is.
Oh yeah.
Which one do you think it is?
The Nun 2.
There you go, my friend. Look at that. I loved the first one.
Did you? Yeah. Okay. You know what?
It was scary.
I can't even remember if I saw The Nun. I don't think I did, which was really a good way for me to take in this movie in its. As its own entity. People always ask about sequels. They go, well, you have to see the original to fully enjoy the follow-up. Well, in the case of The Nun 2, well, for both good and ill, it does appear to be able to stand on its own as a singular horror movie. But anyway, we'll get to the but.
That freaks me out.
Oh yeah. It's freaky. There's a lot of freaky images in this movie, but this one is basically about the nun, the young nun, the same nun from The Nun from 2018, played here again by Tessa Farmiga, who's the daughter of Vera. Now, I should also mention that this is a horror movie and it's the sequel to The Nun, but it's the 9th installment in the Conjuring
universe. Which is so good.
I've lost track of just exactly.
Me too, but I always watch them, so I know that I'm caught up. That's all I know. I watch all of them.
I think The Nun was a spin-off prequel to one of the Conjuring movies. I think it was The Conjuring 2. If you can wrap your head around that, you're a better person than me. But the Conjuring movies were the ones starring Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson as the real-life paranormal investigators, Ed and Lorraine Warren. Okay, and I mention that only to say that Vera Farmiga's daughter plays the nun of the title.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's her real-life daughter. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so anyway, family affair here. Anyway, she's asked, she plays Sister Irene, I think it is. Yeah, Sister Irene.
Yeah.
She's asked by the Vatican to revisit and reconfront with the endgame of sending it back to hell from whence it came, this unseen evil force. We're looking at it now. This demon that's wreaking havoc somewhere in France on everything Catholic, right? Particularly this girls' school and the surrounding Catholic churches and the monasteries in this area of France. Priests are being immolated. The opening sequence is pretty, kick-ass with this priest like getting burnt alive. They're also getting impaled. They're getting gruesomely killed. And so Sister Irene Sister Irene. I know. Well, that's
why? Why do you want to watch this kind
Because
of movie?
I want to watch it. Shoot.
It's so gross.
I know, and it's
because
amazing.
Yeah, because Nikki wants to watch it. Right?
Why do you want these images in your head of this gore?
Oh, I know.
I like it.
I know. You never want to watch this movie before you go to bed, or maybe you do.
I do. I'd like to turn off all the lights and get myself so scared. I'm not even kidding.
Well, anyway, Sister Irene is told by the Vatican, she's the only one that can send this demon back to hell, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of liking this movie a little more as I think back on it, as opposed to when I was watching it. But we'll get to the but. It's got, and to a fault, I should add, it's got all the Nikki. I don't think you'll go away. Well, maybe you will go away disappointed. It's got all the requisite jump scares of these kinds of devil horror possession movies. It's got great production design. I think they obviously they did film it in somewhere in France. It's atmospheric enough. There's lots of Catholic iconography, statues, churches, monasteries, stained glass windows, very Gothic. And that's to its credit. The problem, and here's the but, is that it, believe it or not, I mean, the way I'm talking about it, you wouldn't think, but it just kind of limps along. It's so obviously constructed. It's like this series of setups where a character is trying to figure out, okay, what is this? Is this the demon? Then there's some suspense. And then there's a jump scare. And then another.
So it's very formulaic in the way it's
setup,
presented.
Yeah, another setup where a character is trying to figure out, what is this? Who is this? Is this the demon? And then a jump scare. And then the same thing repeated over and over and over ad infinitum, to the point where it's so repetitive to where even the jump scares get old, and you're kind of just wishing, okay, when is this going to end?
Oh no! Okay.
Well, I don't think it's a very good horror movie per se, even though it looks good and has the sense that it could be good. The problem with it is that its target audience is going to be fans like you, Nikki. But by now, horror movie fans, I think, are overly familiar with the formula. And I would think they would want something a little more scary, or maybe more gruesome, less predictable, maybe just different. And this one falls back on nearly every trope, every cliche, every mechanic of the traditional possession, vanquish the demon narrative. So I think diehard horror movie fans are going to be disappointed. There is one great sequence. I'm not going to give this away. I'm saying this so people look for it, because I wish the whole movie could have been like this. There was a great sequence at a magazine newsstand where the flipping of the pages of all these magazines turns into an actual physical representation of the demon that Sister Irene is stalking. I wish the whole movie could have been like this sequence, but
cool.
Fans are pointing to it, but one inventive sequence is not necessarily a good 1 hour and 15-minute horror movie make. So horror fans, your mileage may vary on this one, whatever. Take what I say with a grain of salt, but I don't know, maybe you'll like it. I don't know.
Well, and just a little fact check for you. Apparently, Taisa and Vera Farmiga are sisters. Not mother.
Oh, sisters. My bad.
Yeah.
See,
I did not even know there was a relation. So there.
Thank you for the correction. Yeah. Oh, she might be insulted if I said that she was her daughter.
Well, they're like 10 or 11 years apart. I Googled it while you were talking.
Okay. Oh, so they are close. Okay. So I thought it was her daughter. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So sister. I stand corrected. Thank you.
Thank you.
I like to be corrected when I'm in error.
Okay. So if you don't like scary, I do want to see this movie also, which is the third installment of My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I don't like how you're saying, was it not good?
Well,
don't say that.
I wanted to see this.
I love number one, the original.
I did too. Look, I love the first one, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. That was such a mega box office hit.
Yeah, it's so cute.
The budget for that movie was $5 million, and I think the box office was something like $368 million.
Wow.
So it was a mega hit. I remember that the popularity of that movie so kept growing and growing that 4 months after that movie came out, its writer and star Nia Vardalos actually went on a national public appearance tour, doing interviews for it. That was unheard of. It's the first and only time in my experience that had ever happened. That was like 21 years ago. Anyway, next one, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2, I liked less.
Yeah.
Okay. And
is it that bad?
I really think it is. Here's the thing. Well, this time, Nia Vardalos, who I really like, she not only wrote and starred, but she also directs, okay? The first two movies were helmed by other directors, but sad to say, this is this, I love you, Nia Vardalos, but this is the worst of the three. Okay. Okay. What is this about? Okay, it's very simple. It's about the Greek Portokalos family, minus
Right.
Gus, the patriarch, because he died in real life. Michael Constantine, who played the
Oh,
father,
yeah.
he passed away in real life. So the character he played in the first two movies had to be written out of the subsequent sequels. So yeah, in this third movie, the Portokalos family goes on a trip to Greece for a family reunion where Gus's diary, I don't know if he would have approved, and personal record of his life and history is to be shared with his surviving friends. That's the paper thin plot. And again, I really like Nia Vardalos. I think she's very talented. She's very she's just appealing as a personality, actor, and writer. But it pains me to say how not good this is.
Oh, wow.
I saw what she was going for, which was like another Valentine to the Greek people, the
Yeah.
Greek culture and the appreciation of those people and their culture from the prism or through the prism of someone who embodied it all in life, which was Gus, the patriarch, the father, but is now gone. He died.
Yeah.
But it was just, oh my God, it was so eye-rolling, so corny, calculated. The comic timing was off. It wasn't so much directed as assembled. You know what it played like? It played like a TV movie that needed a laugh track.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
wow.
I mean,
Okay.
I really, and I think, this is a backhanded compliment, because I do actually think that laugh tracks would have actually filled in and improved the often awkward comic bits, and all those, aren't all these Greeks just so fun-loving and colorful and zany people? Reminders that come flying at you so fast and furiously and endlessly. I mean, I get it. It's for the first 20 minutes, even half hour, but don't
beat it to
pound
death type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a great Greece travelogue. They filmed it in Athens, so
Oh,
we get
nice.
all of that, but it's really forgettable. And as a finished product, completely, it's like if this movie didn't exist, it would.
We wouldn't have been missing anything.
We
yeah.
wouldn't be missing anything. Now, one cool thing, but this was also a red flag as far as sequels goes. Before the movie starts, Nia Vardalos actually appears on screen as herself to get everybody up to speed as to what happened in the previous movies, in case you forgot. But that was the first red flag for me. I'm going, okay, why do you have to tell okay, and I'm not. I think I
might just watch
headache.
the original instead of going to the movie to see this one.
Well, was good about this. Well, this is the other thing this was bad about it, but it's also good. It was like, it's only 90 minutes with credits. So it's actually like an 82-minute movie. So it doesn't really, it doesn't overextend its welcome, but I think it would have made a better short movie. It's so paper thin. And her husband, I forgot his name.
John Corbett.
Yeah, John Corbett. He's just there. I don't think he says anything. I don't think he really does it. He's just there. Like, oh, there's John Corbett again. I mean, he's smiling and he's making a joke. But like, if he weren't there, it wouldn't have even made any difference.
Oh, how funny! But the rest of the original cast, besides the
everybody's there. So and also, to be open about this, the crowd, it wasn't a crowd, it was actually a small group of critics. There was laughter. So maybe it will play really well with an audience. I'm not telling people not to go see this. I'm just telling them that I just thought it was.
You didn't think it was that great.
I didn't think it was very good.
What I don't understand, Tim, is when you have achieved such great success as with the first one, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe you capitalize that success by throwing a second one.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you want to protect the legacy of success you had? Like, why would you then just put out a piece of garbage just to put it out? Like, are you hard up for money or what?
Well, I don't think Nia, after the first one, or anybody connected with that first one, is hard up for money. Mm-hmm. I really think, I think her intentions were really good. It just, I don't know. I don't think she set out to do that. I actually, because there was like a 7-year lag between this one and the last one. So I think she was, my understanding is she was spending that time to write something that was good and that would be faithful to the franchise. I just, I couldn't believe if I had just seen this movie and I didn't know any of the people involved, I would thought, who made this thing? They really they had no clue as to even how to make a movie that was funny and that was well timed and where the jokes fell in the right place. None of that came across. It seemed like it was, I love you, Nia, but this seemed like an amateur. And maybe it was because she directed it. Maybe she needed an outside
eye. Yeah.
An outside eye. But I mean, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's go at your own risk. You might not like it, but you might like it. All right.
Yeah, right.
The last one is this one. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe.
Yeah, the week wasn't a total loss for me because this was a good one. This coming of age drama is directed by trans filmmaker H. Alberto, who I think we're going to be hearing more about. It's her feature film directorial debut, and it's an adaptation of the apparently, I'm told, I had never heard of this novel, but it's a hugely popular 2012 YA novel that sold like millions of copies of the same name, which I'll get to in a second here. But basically, it's about two Mexican-American teenage boys who find that they have this instant connection with each other, despite how different they are. And the movie is about them figuring out exactly what that connection is, what it means, and how it relates to how they see themselves. Takes place in 1987, and it's set in El Paso, Texas. It stars Max Palaio and Reese Gonzalez, two new on-the-scene actors as the title characters. And it's a very sweet, tender movie, very nuanced in terms of it not really wanting to label any of what these boys are going through and what they're experiencing. And I like that a lot about it. In other words, it's deep. And my ultimate takeaway was that it's basically a story about friendship and what it really means to be a friend. I'm actually, this doesn't happen to me at all because I'm so busy lately, but I'm actually reading the book now.
That's what I was just going to say. I'm going to read the book before I go.
The book is beautiful. The movie is too. But what strikes me most about the book is its depiction of the Mexican-American culture. It's very accurate, but it's also a culture that I suspect may be changing, certainly with movies and books like Aristotle and Dante. But the Mexican culture tends to be, at least in my experience in working with that culture in the early 90s, very binary in terms of its attitudes about sex and the role of women in that culture and what it means to be a man in that culture. And what am I saying? I found it very interesting that this particular story, with all of its nuance, rose out of that culture and was such a popular novel, and so popular that there's even a sequel, a book sequel out that came as a result of the success of this story that you wouldn't think would be told by the Mexican culture. So I highly recommend this movie, especially to young people. It's dedicated. The movie starts out being dedicated to all of us. I wrote this down. To all of us who've had to learn to play by different rules, which is a dedication most of us on some basic human level can relate to. And as I said, it's a tender and sweet movie. It's about identity and trust and empathy and acceptance and friendship and self and love. It's really about love, I guess, is the best way to describe it. But very well made, very well acted, very well directed, very touching movie. And it's one of those small films that I like. It's a movie more about the characters and people and the emotions more than anything else. And you know, those movies tend to be my cup of tea because I see so many.
Nice.
And it's just.
And so, are all of these movies that you just told us about in the theater?
In theaters, yeah. Soon to probably be streaming. Probably. Look at Barbie. Yeah. I mean,
Barbie's going to, but that's just a moneymaker left and right. So
yeah. But I mean, it's that's already going to be out streaming, I think, on the 14th. So anyway, yeah, all Bay Area theaters, all these movies opening today.
Perfect. Tim Sika, thank you so much. You have a fabulous weekend, and we will talk next week.
All right. Talk to you next week, ladies.
Bye, guys. Yeah. So it's kind of like it was a crapshoot. I mean, there's a little something for everybody in those movies. I want to say some thank yous before we end the show, though.
And I have a breaking story, too, so circle back to me for it.
Okay, real quickly. Harry, thank you for always starting us off with the $5 super chat. Joe, $20 super sticker. Thank you, Joe, so much. Ren 0287, great job stepping in. Kim, Nikki, hope you're back soon. I came back. Thanks for the $10. And then also Nick, we need a Friday food segment where Nikki and Kim drink wine and try different cheeses.
I'm all for that.
Are you going to drink wine with me at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Absolutely.
Look at her. Look how she talks about drinking alcohol. And you know damn well she don't drink no alcohol. We will do it though. Thank you for the $10 donation and the good idea.
I got my wine right here. I got my why are you yelling red?
Why are you yelling red? Okay, perfect. Oh, what's the breaking news?
Nancy Pelosi is running for office again.
Shut
Nancy
up.
Pelosi, she's going to be 84 in March. She says, now more than ever, our city needs us to advance San Francisco values and further our recovery. Our country needs America to show the world our flag is still there. That is why I am running for re-election, and I respectfully ask for your vote. So she's left her
city
leadership
council?
role. No, for her House seat. She says
No.
she wants it back. So she is
No.
running for re-election in San Francisco.
No.
Yeah.
I like Nancy Pelosi. Don't get me wrong. Stop. It's ego. We can talk about this on Monday. It is ego that you think you are the only person that can forward the platform or whatever. Bring up younger people.
You know how long she's held that seat?
How long?
Since 1987.
I'm telling you, people, like it is all freaking ego. Stop it.
Yeah.
Bring up the next generation. Jesus, Lord Almighty. All right. Well, we'll probably touch on that on Monday, I'm sure. But stay with us because Kim's going to talk about it, I'm sure, with Mark.
Yeah.
And then on the After Party Live with John Daly. Have a fabulous weekend. I will be back on Monday. Goodbye, my friend. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.
See you later. Bye, everyone.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You sprout like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.